and the Guild present Digital Office, shaping the way for future government and the public sector in association with CNBC TV 18.
The webinar kicked off with presentations on how OpenText is helping governments and organizations unlock the information advantage and build a resilient remote work strategy for the future.
OpenText is renowned and known as the information company, and we've grown from being an ECM vendor or a content management vendor into what we believe is a truly information management organization. And we believe that ERP has, over the last 20 years, has provided organizations with the process advantage. But organizations have changed. The requirements and the needs of organizations and governments have changed. And it's not just about the automation of processes, but it's also into how do you find that information, how do you unlock that information that is generated through daily processes and daily creation of unstructured information, and how do you engage with citizens and internal processes in terms of how do you do standard operating procedures. And a lot of information is kind of encapsulated in that, which we don't necessarily find a way to truly use and get the value out of it. And that's where we have truly focused on how do you provide an information advantage. And today, in today's world, especially looking at what the pandemic has done, is how do you use that information to provide a resilient organization or a resilient government that can, through digitization and optimization, provide the services to government departments, but also to the citizens. How do you provide better services in a digital world to the citizens? And that's truly where we believe we have the capability through our 4 pillars to provide the information management, but also the resilient organization or the resilient government through our content services, which is a core part of how do you manage unstructured information, cyber resilience, which is becoming more and more important as we move into a digital world, and how do we protect data? How do we protect data that's sitting outside of our organization? How do we protect data for a workforce that is fully remote? And how do you ensure that management of it? And then also digital experiences. Digital experiences looking at the citizen experience, how you as a government organization engage with your citizens. How do you provide information, updates to that? And we look at how do we truly integrate all these different services. One of the key things that we see around our business network as well is how, as a government, do we provide e-invoicing capabilities to ensure that governments, no matter what type of supplier you are to government, but are able to pay these suppliers, small or large, within a shorter period of time of even 5 days, which becomes very important from a global or a country economy in terms of how you manage commerce across the government in terms of how you work with your suppliers. So we believe that as we start integrating and bundling all these different services together, we truly provide the information advantage through the management and effective usage of the information that gets created on a regular basis, on a daily basis within government. We've also, over the last 10 years, we have really worked with the Indian government in terms of working on digital transformation. And we realized very quickly, very early, that for us to truly build a paperless environment, a paperless government, it is important for us to look at the processes within the government operations and how do we automate those and how do we make those paperless.
Appreciating the Digital India initiative of Government of India, we see wide adoption of e-office solutions by the government and PSU organizations. That's there. And considering wider adoption, the requirements of digital office are evolving, and hence, OpenText continues to innovate and introduce new capabilities and features to suit the customer requirements. Now, this solution assumes greater significance in COVID times as services have to be delivered in a contactless environment while people continue to work from home. That is the mantra here. People are working from home, and how do we manage it? We are also working on making this particular e-office AI enabled and voice enabled, right? So voice and AI actually go hand in hand. With voice enabled e-office, we intend to ease our customers, as in your life, by simplifying working on files using voice commands. I'll give certain examples. We also have a prototype ready of that, and we are working with a lot of customers with these things. So it can be as simple as what are the high priority files in my inbox today, just by voice, right? So how many RTI requests were responded to today? It can be, okay, please delegate this file to Amit Ranjan with a comment, kindly respond to this on priority. All this is being visualized, is being brought to life, and is being possible now. Another example I would want to give would be combined with the AI portion, which is for the powerful searching. We can have an AI element into it, just add that, and just see the kind of innovation we can do. We can say, please get me all the files which has the word cloud adoption, and they originated between the year 2016 to 2018. Another example can be, request you to tell me the summary of the tender document within the file number this is this, right? Or we can say, kindly get me all the citizen correspondences which carried a negative sentiment in the year September 2018, right? So, and the possibilities are endless, right? So that is where the AI portion actually comes in. At OpenText, we have very, very advanced text mining engines which can provide various AI attributes such as summary of your document, sentiment and tone analysis, intent, and much more. By mining the text which is of a document which is in your repository, this actually gives immense power to the unstructured content that is sitting in your repository for years and years, and gives your organization an additional tool to unlock the potential of the years of knowledge which is sitting in your repository and is dormant. So let's get that dormant knowledge to life using such kind of tools and such kind of innovations.
Our journey began in 2018. In the first quarter of 2018, we had around 250 odd cases. Today we've crossed 20,000 cases, and as you can see, post-COVID, we've done almost 3,700 cases post-COVID. So it was a very, very effective tool, something that we did not envisage when we started the journey for a COVID-like situation, for a work-from-home situation. But ECM did come in handy at this juncture, and there are lots of statistics to prove the case that work from home was facilitated by this ECM solution. Why OpenText ECM? Process automation. We have a lot of workflows for diverse business processes. It helps. It has a dashboard. It has MIS on turnaround time, on pending lists. We can effectively manage changes, noting as per the organization needs, the features of annotation, dark, that is dark in the Indian context. The inward-outward letters and emails can be managed through separate workflows. It's Rajabhasha compliant in the sense that a lot of public sector undertakings have to be Rajabhasha compliant, and so we have drop-down menus for a lot of Hindi phrases and words. You can have role-based access control, wherein a lot of who can view the documents, who can't view the documents. It's tamper-proof, transparency and concurrency. At the same time, we can check where these cases are.
OpenText and the Guild present Digital Office, shaping the way for future government and the public sector in association with CNBC TV 18. OpenText and the Guild present Digital Office, shaping the way for future government and the public sector in association with CNBC TV 18.
Thought leaders and experts from the government and public sector arenas came together for a panel discussion titled Digital Office Shaping the Way for Future Government and Public Sector to discuss the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the delivery of public services and the speed of digital transformation of public sector organizations.
Now, let me start by saying, even before the outbreak of this COVID-19 pandemic, we have seen that the government and public sector has always been at the forefront as far as the technological disruptions are concerned. And in fact, we have been continuously witnessing a large number of transformational initiatives which are really impacting the way the public services delivered in the country. Now, what we are also seeing today is that COVID-19 has really enhanced the pace of digitalization, if I may say so, in the sector. And something which has not to be talked about from today's perspective, but also how are we preparing country for the future? And I think that's one of the key things that we are seeing today in this sector. I think it would be really great to hear from our panelists today what has been their experience and how do they look at the future of the public service delivery in the country.
We have been taking a very proactive approach. The government has been very proactive in putting technology in various aspects, various activities. Basically, if I tell you, there was a plan that you put the technology in the entire project life cycle of a highway, right, starting from the planning to the execution stage and when it reaches to the operation and maintenance. And I'm happy to share with you that in last couple of 3-4 years, we have done a sizable kind of technology adoption, at least in HAI. We had put plenty of IoT sensors at the site. There are LiDAR surveys. We are using the satellite imagery for fixing the alignments. We are using different kinds of latest softwares for fixing, calculating the estimates, the designing, and then identifying the best alignment which can be used. So the full technology adoption is done at the planning stage itself.
We are improving our growth in that way by facilitating the workforce, employees with latest technology. We have used, just example give you, in the pandemic situation, we have been successfully enabling the efficient and conducting work from concept and for our employees during the COVID situation, and through our leveraging infrastructure platform and secure VPN. And we have established digital infrastructure solution for customer-centric application. These are ERP solution, some payment point of view, we have done so many payment gateway integration or something, that we have done all these things. And we have been able to support the business expansion plan for our organization through extending our ERP solution to new geographical location, enabling digital and onboarding customers portal for faster and convenient acquisition of new customers. All the above have contributed towards enhance our business growth and profitability.
Mr. Manish, how do you see an organization like OpenText contributing to Digital India or Digital Office initiatives for the government and public sector? What's the role that you think an organization like you can play?
As a part of the overall Digital India initiative, which is their flagship program for Government of India, so that services are available to citizens electronically, and that all these government and public sector organizations embrace the digital transformation. We also started by creating a digital office framework. And as one of the market leaders in this space of enterprise information management, which enables an intelligent and connected organization, we created this application framework based on our leading ECM, our enterprise content management platform, to enable all the government and public sector enterprises to go paperless and automate their manual processes. So, and we called it Saksham to start with, and this solution has been enhanced to cater and really get up to the newer requirements and as the customer and citizen requirements evolve. So OpenText solutions we empower all the citizens and consumers besides the government organizations and public sector organizations they need through for accessing services through their smartphones. Citizens can get their tasks done faster while improving the transparency and efficiency and also adhering to the compliance norm. We enable actually, if we talk about some of the use cases, and one of the use cases were related to a large government organization which is involved in the financial services space. We enabled integrating various stakeholders on a single electronic platform, upgrading and enhancing their electronic submission of documents, and thereby making trade across borders much easier. And one of the feedback, and that was a great feedback that we received from our customer, is that was one of the factors which actually improved our ranking on ease of doing business.
Moving to one another key area about the security of the data. How are you really adapting to this new normal, keep not compromising the security of the data or the information that you have? I think this is something that would be really good to understand.
Good data governance model which we have done in Passport Seva. What I have done, I have divided into 4 quadrants. The first quadrant is on the people, meaning to say that who is the creator and owner of the data. The second quadrant is the execution and deployment model, whether it is a central model or federated model. The third quadrant, I say, is a rules of engagement. What is your rules of engagement on the entire data governance model? And the fourth quadrant is the tools and technology you deploy. And on top of that, finally, you have to see that what is the outcome you are looking for. When I say outcome, in terms of efficiency, in terms of efficacy, what is your KPI and what is your SLA on top of that. If you are doing this kind of a structured, holistic data governance approach, then definitely you can handle this kind of a data security and privacy concerns.
We are implementing the security thing. There are a lot of security boxes, security solutions, everything is available in the market. Most of our, the PSUs and federal government, they have put in the security arrangements in place. But above all those things, security is never absolute. Never it is 100%. I mean, you put in so much of, you spend so much of money and then you put in so much of solutions around, but still security is a concern. And just when we are we have to be ready to face any security incident. That is the underlying thing in IT security. Right. While coming to the pandemic situation, now we are actually opening up more areas for a security concern. While addressing all those concerns, at the same time we have to understand that whether we are trying to arrange a greater experience for the organization, employees, or customers like that. We have to ensure that. When we are adopting any security, we have to ask the questions that this particular security adoption is good for the organization, good for the employee, or good for the customer or citizen. We have to ask all these questions when we are adopting any security implementation. Particularly, the technology on the cloud side, actually there are a lot of developments going on. There are a lot of virtualization happening on the cloud network and the security part, which is actually enabling most of the technology people to adopt, virtualize you can virtualize your firewall, virtualize your DDIN, or anti-APT, or anything you can virtualize literally. So now the thing is, the market is available with so much of tools, easy adoption, and at a minimal cost in it is available. So that we can look at all those tools so that the security can be enhanced, even in the pandemic situation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sundaram. Mr. Tyagi, I couldn't stop asking you this thing. We recently heard a collaboration between CSCs and WhatsApp to drive the digital inclusion. Now, do you see many more such collaborations coming in the future which can really catalyze the uptake of citizen services and digital inclusion?
The education is our core service, and that's our foundation on which the Common Service Center works. And we do almost everything in education possible, from digital education to normal education to competitive exam preparation, everything possible what the citizen, a boy or girl needs that. So we were finding it difficult in the pandemic time to try and propagate our programs on education. So WhatsApp came as a boon because we now done a course on artificial intelligence using WhatsApp, which is an amazing work, and the response is phenomenal. So we can do the new emerging technologies and teach the students in villages using WhatsApp.
Okay.
Which will solve the problem with that. And I'm sure we're going to use many more of such new technologies in taking and empowering communities, especially those who live in rural.
Do you see this sudden growth in digital adoption because of the pandemic? Again, I would not say it is only because of pandemic situation. We are seeing that growth before the pandemic as well. But do you see this sudden acceleration in the pace of adoption would sustain in the post-pandemic area?
See that this adoption of digital technology is here to stay. Now the companies, they have got used to switching over to desktop PCs, things like workflow-based file approvals, no more movement of files, switching over to online submission of most of the application forms, e-services, online campaigns, online events, even within the company, online events like hackathons, meetings, conclaves, these are all happening, and all these change management activities are happening within the companies, and besides that, internal and external stakeholders are demanding the virtual services. So things like sending e-invoices to customers, automation of processes, e-tailoring, these are going to be established things, and these changes are here to stay. And introduction of digital in most of the process, which were hitherto done manually, is going to be there. So with the work from home, which is going to stay for more time, means thinner attendance in offices, more jobs will have to be either automated or enabled online. Remote monitoring of locations will become a standard operating process. So people will have to monitor remotely the location. So very briefly, in a contactless world, a vast majority of interaction with the customers, with the employees, vendors will have to take place virtually. And what is going to stay here is, I feel, omnichannel commerce, digital content consumption, greater use of self-service, etc.
OpenText and the Guild present Digital Office, shaping the way for future government and the public sector in association with CNBC TV 18. Focus, ideate, innovate, enable.